because the scariest thing about those attacks that I would get is I never had conversations about panic attacks, and I
No.
didn't know what it was.
No, me either.
You know, and also I was like smoking synthetic weed, like a fake weed at the time, because at the time I had a job that I was getting drug tested, and this was before weed was legalized, and so I was also taking in these chemicals that were not so good. It was
Wait,
called
what?
spice. I didn't tell you about this.
Maybe.
Yeah, this was back when I was like early 20s, and I was worried about being drug tested in the job that I was in at the time, and marijuana was not legal at the time. And my early 20s, I was in love with weed, and that didn't last too long because of these panic attacks. But I thought that I was like having some sort of reaction to this like synthetic marijuana, this stuff called spice, which has since been made illegal.
Oh,
Yeah, you
Because
can't,
of
because
all-
you
because
used
of
to
the
be able to just go
content?
into a head shop and get it. Like,
well, so what's in it? Do you know?
it is basically just like an herb, like a completely innocuous herb that's sprayed with this chemical called JWH018. And I remember that because I did my homework on
I
it.
was gonna say, how do you remember? But
Yeah, it's a chemical that was sprayed onto like basically like herb, and it was recreated the THC molecule. Basically, it's a synthetic THC, but it was
that sounds
a
awful.
1,000 times stronger. And I remember like the first panic attack where I went to the ER because I didn't know what was happening. I thought I was having I was checking my heart rate, and it was in the 180s, and I knew that like, okay, that's not good. And it was my first full on, and my roommate was there with me. He can remember this because he called 911 because I was like, call 911. I think I'm having a reaction to this stuff. I had no idea that I was in a full blown panic attack. Now that stuff definitely made me more susceptible. Whatever I was doing, because for a lot of people, even something as simple as weed can trigger anxiety because it does open up those pathways. But this stuff even more so. And so I'm sure that wasn't good for me, but the fear that I was feeling was completely panic. But I never had one, and I was like 22, and I didn't know what I was doing. I thought I was like having a reaction to this because the moment I thought that, the panic started was when I looked at the bong bowl, and I was like, oh damn, I took a lot. And as soon as I thought, oh damn, I took a lot, boom,
Yeah.
it hit hard. And
That
like,
sounds scary.
and then it went from 0 to 60. Like, and I'm like, okay, just calm yourself down. Try to go drink something. Try to go eat something. Try to go whatever. And then as I was eating, I could feel like it just made me more freaked out because I could feel the eating. When you're like too high, you just get that feeling. And that feeling of being too high or a bad trip, it's not necessarily, it comes on from yourself. The weed or whatever drug you're on brings it out of you, but it's bringing something out of you that's already in there. That's why some people can have good trips and have no worry of having bad trips. Some people, they're prone to have bad trips because they cannot be in a situation that brings that shit out of them. But it's there in you. It's just pulling out something that's already there, or it's making you aware of something that's there.